Okay, gang, how are ya? This is Derek, your mad scientist. It's bucketing outside. I've got nothing to do, so I thought I would prove to you how my mind works. Here we have a standard Lemax animation. I think it's the father playing basketball with his son, and here it is in action. So basically the poor fellow is trying to stop his father from throwing the ball into the basket, and after about 5 times of doing this, he's going to get fed up and walk away. Meanwhile, dad's still throwing the ball, and they're just making this repetitive motion as long as there's battery in the box or the switch is on. Now, if you come over here, you'll be wondering, what has this skater got to do with the whole thing? But this is a proof of concept video, so bear with me. What I've done is taken a stepper motor and put a magnet on top of the shaft, and I've taken a figurine which I had altered for my skating pond experiment. I've put it on a stick. Could be a popsicle stick, could be any kind of stick. It's just a proof of concept. We'll clean it up later on. You will notice that I've stuck a magnet just about there. That's a super magnet, and the lady here is actually got a magnet at the bottom of her. Where's the camera? There you go. She's got a magnet there, right? And then there's a magnet on top of the stepper motor, so you just pop that there. And now we turn the stepper motor on, and voila, we have exactly the same motion. A central figure turning around, and some other figure which you could put on top of the magnet at the end of the stick. And I've just dropped the whole thing. Very good. What I was trying to do with this magnet here and this piece of roadway is to prove that the magnetism will work on this. In fact, the magnetism is so strong that the two magnets are holding each other up and the whole motor is turning. So if the motor was held steady, then you would be able to have the skater moving on top of this plastic roadway which I've used. What does all this mean? Well, it means that we are no longer stuck with having to use the Lemax animations the way they were designed. We can alter them to suit whatever we want. Now, this is a very rough proof of concept experiment, but I'm sure that you can see that there is a potential here to make your own animation much cheaper and much quicker. Now let me pick this thing up and show you how it works at the bottom. You see, that's the motor at the bottom there. Let me turn this on. And you've got this whole thing going basically in just one step. Okay, so it turns and the whole thing turns. Now, the problem with this is because it's mechanical, its parameters are built in at the design stage, and there's absolutely no way that you could change this. However, a stepper motor works off a program. What you see here with the lights on is the driver part of the program. I've explained this before, that computer chips really have very little strength. They're just brains. They need a brawn to make it work, and this is the brawn here, which is just basically a simple Darlington array, and it's hooked up. And then back over here, rough as guts, but it's a prototype. You've got the 18M2 chip. No, actually, sorry, this is the 08M chip, doing all the thinking, and basically you can change how far you want this to go, how fast you want it to go, just by changing the program rather than changing the design. So once this has been built in, you are not stuck with having to make it work all the time at this amplitude or even at this speed or in this direction. As you can see, it goes in both directions. You could change the program so that it goes much slower, right down to 1 step per thousandth of an inch. Or you could make it faster. You could change the angle that you want it to turn. You could make it turn less than 10 degrees, or you could make it turn 360 degrees, in which case you would have to design something that would allow you to do this. But I've used this idea with skaters, and I'm just presenting it to you, rough as guts, for you to have a think about what we might do with this wonderful technology that costs all of under $10. Whoopee-doo. Derek out.